stay-at-home dad, watching Disney movies he never had. His daughter digs through all the VHS, crushing the classics in a princess dress. Informed like Scuttle, Kurt's got your ticket, making it real like Jiminy Cricket. Most are off the Captain Hook, but if the Tweedledum, he'll be taking more shots than Bambi's mom. Leave him raised like Simba, or cracked like the beast dishes. He'll show you a whole new world, you won't need 3 wishes. Stay-at-home Disney dad.
I'll reiterate, I don't get it. I don't get the appeal, but I know I'm in the minority here. So let's do this. We have the commemorative edition of Winnie the Pooh. Okay, 1921, Edwin Bear was renamed Winnie the Pooh by the author's little boy, and he would make up bedtime stories for Christopher, and you know what? I'll just stop. Anyone who cares knows this story by now, and I respect this story, and I respect the Canadian roots, and I respect anyone who could take such an intimate and touching part of parenthood and turn it into a franchise of characters that could be shared with kids around the world. Like, that's the dream. My indifference of the Pooh universe doesn't come from jealousy, I swear. I just don't get the appeal of these characters and this bizarre style of storytelling. I mentioned this in my Hercules review, but when I was a kid, there was a short time we didn't have cable television. My dad would sit on the roof with his tinfoil hat while we used the rabbit ears on the back of the television to get the local channels. I call those the dark years. This is going somewhere, so stay with me. During the dark years, instead of all the amazing cartoons featuring my favorite toy lines that would play in the US stations, my Saturday mornings, we had one channel that played such heavy hitters like Rocket Robin Hood, Pink Panther, and Hercules. I'll have to admit I have a special place in my heart for those cartoons. I'm nostalgic for them as they remind me of simpler times of a childhood home and sitting cross-legged in front of my giant tube TV, letting these shows entertain me while my parents still slept. But these cartoons were not good, and they don't deserve to be turned into billion-dollar franchises. They don't. Are they simple and fun? Yeah. Should they be stretched and mutated into ongoing franchises with various offshoot stories and reboots? Absolutely not. That's how I feel about Winnie the Pooh. You know what? It's starting. Okay. We get a barbershop quartet singing character introductions, and Winnie the Pooh is a tubby little something something. He was a bear of very little brain. Amen. Pooh is outside tending to a fire. His poo-poo clock chimes, and instead of a cuckoo bird, it's a small Winnie the Pooh. I should make a clock of myself. No one would judge me, right? Pooh is a simpleton. He stretches before he eats. Okay, he's going for honey. There's no honey. He turns the pot upside down and shakes it, and that's not how honey works there, big guy, but okay. There's a bee circling the pot, and my patience is circling the bowl. Pooh climbs a honey tree as the narrator has the utmost faith in the target audience and explains how Pooh is climbing a tree, just in case someone out there is confused at the images they're seeing, which is Pooh climbing a tree. He keeps singing that there's a rumbling in his tumbling, and he falls on his head and gives us an "oh bother" transition to Christopher Robin, Owl Kanga, and Eeyore, who's stuffed with sawdust. Let's give Christopher Robin the elevator, shall we? He's rocking sandals, white socks pulled up to his knees, blue short shorts, and a yellow-colored v-neck. For those of you keeping score at home, this is probably why his only friends are stuffed animals. Hashtag imagine no bullying. Christopher Robin sends Pooh airborne with a helium balloon, and it's a good thing there's no turtles in the 100-acre woods because they'd be choking to death on that balloon after it pops. Pooh gets some honey and ends up eating a bunch of bees as well, as you do. Now he's being swarmed. Now he's got his butt stuck in the hole in a tree. Now he's free and the bees are chasing him again. The balloon deflates and he's about to fall to his death and delivers another "oh bother," which is what I hope I remember to say moments before impact if I'm ever like in a plane crash or falling out of a window or something. Okay, I would love to see something vibrant and colorful here, but it's just not happening. Just everything's pastel. I just want to see something that doesn't remind me of my late grandmother's living room. Like if her good china and tablecloth came to life, they would be Winnie the Pooh characters. Pooh goes to Rabbit's house and Rabbit gives him a drop of honey, but this greedy, terrible friend eats the entire jar with his hands. Once it's done, he tells Rabbit he must be going now. Are you sure you don't want any more? Is there more? No. Alright. Okay, now Pooh is stuck half in and half out of Rabbit's house. See, he ate too much honey and now he's stuck in the doorway. And this, my friends, is the iconic Winnie the Pooh moment. I mean, Cinderella has her midnight curfew and glass slippers, Sleepy Beauty has witches turning into dragons, and Winnie the Pooh has the time he was too fat to get through a hole in the ground. Remember Hercules with Newton and Daedalus? Like imagine if Disney bought the deep catalog of that instead of Winnie the Pooh. I'd be watching a completely different movie right now. I barely remember Rocket Robin Hood. No idea what that is even about, but I could picture the intro. Pink Panther was a trip. Just a bizarre cartoon. Saturday mornings. I was always insulted that they would have like 6 4-minute stories in half an hour. Like, how short of an attention span do you think we had? So unnecessary. Okay, I've been daydreaming now for 10 minutes and Pooh is still stuck in the hole in the ground. I'm serious. A rabbit accepts his fate, and this is how he lives now. So he puts a plant on Pooh's butt and draws a face on Pooh's derriere. Like, what are we watching? What is this? What kid out there is rocking in laughter at this? Okay, so then they plan to starve Pooh until he's thin enough to climb back out. Responsible messaging. We meet a mole, time passes, Rabbit wakes up hungover one morning and is excited because they have indeed managed to starve Pooh enough that he can now escape the hole in the wall. They sing about making Pooh unfatter. He pops out but now lands headfirst in a tree, but it's okay because inside the tree is a river of honey. That's how trees work, right? Okay. The narrator says we turn the page and we are on to the next story. It's a windy day and Pooh wants to, quote, visit his thoughtful spot. I hear you, bud. That's my new favorite euphemism. Pooh's thoughtful spot was it a sheltered place? Okay, the author's just messing with us now. He's trying to see what he could slide under the radar and get away with. It's a windy day and Piglet gets sucked into the vortex, but luckily Pooh holds on to one end of Piglet's scarf and now Piglet's up in the air like a kite. Roo asks if he could fly Piglet next and I hate myself, but that was really funny. Rabbit is in his garden. What a refreshing day for harvesting. What a refreshing day for harvesting. What kid likes this? The wind gusts hard and Owl's house falls over, and I'm guessing this is the exact moment all Pooh fans develop long-term anxiety during storms. We move away from that story. Now Pooh is on his own in bed and terrified as he hears something growling outside his bedroom door. Pooh grabs his shotgun. This is real. Pooh takes his shotgun and opens the door, and this is the first time we see Tigger. Tigger tackles him, and I guess this is an iconic moment as these two iconic characters meet each other for the first time and come face to face, but I just feel dead inside. Tigger is insane, but I can at least kind of see why kids would enjoy this character. I think in my last review, I made the joke about grading Owl on a curve against the rest of the Pooh characters. And in that being said, this time Tigger's the greatest character ever created in the history of ink and paper. Again, grading on a curve. What happened to Owl's house? Pooh wants to protect his own house. He grabs his shotgun. Okay, it's actually a cork gun, and he talks to himself in the mirror and then marches back and forth. Now is the thunderstorm. Pooh keeps lonely vigil hour after hour. Sounds like what I'm doing. Thank goodness I don't have a shotgun. He has a nightmare about dancing pots and pans, and they warn him about a Huffalump, and we dip into Dumbo territory where weird trippy animation. I'm talking elephants with accordion noses, and it's raining and everything is flooded. Everyone goes to Christopher Robin's house except Piglet and Pooh, who's spitting in the water stuck upside down in a honey pot. As much as I can't get into the Winnie the Pooh movies, reviewing them is a complete breeze because something worthy writing about happens like once every 10 minutes. During the last scene, I got down and did 20 push-ups and 20 sit-ups. This is amazing. Owl finds a new home, which was Piglet's old home, and no one says anything. Okay, I know these characters represent mental illness, but Tigger's bouncing is getting out of control, and all the other characters are planning an intervention because Tigger's bouncing too much these days. Yep. He bounces off into the mist, and they go after him, and I just paid some bills online. Rabbit goes to the mist to find Tigger, but then Tigger comes back, no Rabbit, so Tigger goes into the mist to find Rabbit. This is turning into a horror movie. I will say when the animators work on dark forest backgrounds, they nail it. I love that old grainy, deep green and gray look. Hey, everyone's out of the mist now, and it's winter, and everyone is ice skating. Tigger says he can skate, he can't. Tigger says he can climb trees, he can't. And I can't, like, I can't. They get Tigger to bounce less, and he's even more annoying when he stops bouncing. So they tell him to go back to bouncing. So if Tigger does symbolize addiction, I'm not sure I can get behind that message. The narrator says, we have come to our last story, and Christopher Robin is about to start school, and this is the plot of the other movie we just watched, but then this one just ends. Because of course it does. The last story was like 90 seconds and it's all over. No credits, just black. Another fun fact is that the tape runs out 30 seconds after the movie ends. Now for you youngins that don't understand VHS tapes, usually there was like an extra 10 minutes of nothing after the movie ended. Like they would put an 80-minute movie on a 90-minute tape. Math. So the last 10 minutes would just be static. But this one cuts it super close. Just thinking about that gives me legit anxiety. But I guess it's nice to feel something. Anyway, those were the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and I feel like the word adventure has forever been tainted because of it. How about the tepid observations of Winnie the Pooh, or the bland happenings of Winnie the Pooh, or the lackluster events of Winnie the Pooh? Or how about a movie that makes it feel like when a 20-year-old that still lives at home and only works part-time tells someone in their 30s with a 2-year-old kid and a mortgage a 40-minute story about something funny that happened over the weekend when they went to the bar, and you try to act interested as the story goes on and on while you're thinking only about your bills and getting your kid to their dentist appointment on time and wondering if you missed your mom's birthday. Yeah, that's what this movie feels like.
That's what I think about.
What do you think?
What we have is a concern about Curtis Anderson. His interviewing style is not the best. His personal appearance is not the best. I was wondering if the man has some